Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And this is going to be one of my most favorite episodes of all time, and I can already feel it. So make sure you guys stick around for this one, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you haven't already. Let me get into this topic here. So as all of you know by now, that Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. I've said this on many occasions. I didn't see anyone play live basketball that I could see. I saw a basketball player live play better basketball than Kobe Bryant. I've never seen it. Now, I never got a chance to see Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls, but I did catch him, with the Wizard years, but that's not the real MJ, right? But if we're talking about people that I actually saw play basketball, I never saw anyone play basketball better than Kobe Bryant, in my personal opinion. And that's the reason why I have him as the third greatest player of all time, behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan. And for, let's say, 8 to 10 year stretch, Kobe Bryant was the single most unstoppable offensive force in the NBA, period. And everyone knew it, including players and coaches. But if you leave it to the media dweebs today and the totally uninformed fans out there that are uninformed, they'll tell you otherwise. Thank God we have the internet and we have audio and we have video. So what I want to do here for you guys, some of you guys are fully aware of this, but maybe a good amount of our audience isn't. I want to play a compilation of some of the players and coaches that played when Kobe Bryant was in his prime in the NBA. And I want you guys to take a listen to some of the things that they had to say about Kobe Bryant. And it will surprise a lot of you if you listen to some of the Shannon Sharps and the Nick Wrights of the world. It may be very strange to you when you hear these opinions. So before we go too far, take a listen to some of the things that you had to hear, that they had to say here. Take a listen to that.
I scratch my head every time I hear the name Kobe Bryant right now, and I try to get a dictionary and try to find a word that what he's doing right now, and I'm just lost for words. I mean, he's amazing. I've been quoted saying that he's definitely the best player in our league. To me, in my eyes, the best scorer in our league, and it's unbelievable. I don't know if it's not another guy in this league that can accomplish some of the things that he's doing right now.
We know who the best is. Like, come on, man, say it. Let the truth be told. The way how he goes at basketball and his preparation and dedication to the game is, it's something that's unique. Kids think that he's Kobe Bryant. He's just as good as he is because of him just knowing how to play. They don't know before the product touches the store. It's a lot of things that has to go into that. It's something that people, when they look at him play, it's like, oh, I can do that. Nah, you can't do that. He's the only person on this earth that can do what he's doing on the basketball court. He defends and plays offense. Who does that? He guards, he defends, he stops people. And then do that on the offensive end. I mean, that's like seeing him that night. It's like, damn, I can't score, and he about to bust my ass.
The best player in the NBA?
Oh, still Kobe Bryant.
Really? Why?
Because you never know what you're going to get. You never know. You don't know what you're going to get. And opening night, he scored 45. I mean, I love Kobe. For me, he's the best player. I think he's our mentor. How one guy can beat 12 guys. You know what I mean? It's like Michael Jordan.
Greats right there, probably with Jordan. I mean, Jordan will always, to me, be the best of the best of the best, but, you got to put Kobe there, and that's where, Dwayne and LeBron and Carmelo and all these other guys one day would like to be considered in that group.
I think he's the most talented player in the game at both ends of the floor, and with that comes a huge responsibility and a hell of a dilemma at times. And as we all know, Michael had to work through that. And I think Kobe's really concentrating on working through that same dilemma in trusting teammates and doing it on a consistent basis. And I think that he's done a great job of that this season. And I think the way the players around him are playing is the proof of that.
As the Lakers take a 3-1 season series win over the Suns, what is it about Kobe Bryant that can elevate this team possibly to an NBA champion?
He's the best player in the game. It's just that simple. There's nothing that Kobe Bryant can't do. He will defend your best player. He will shoot from the perimeter. He will get all in your mug. He will do whatever it takes. He is the most complete basketball player in the game today, bar none. He has an assassin's mentality. I said this when the trade went down, and I'll repeat it again. Who would want to beat Shaq and the Phoenix Suns more than Kobe Bryant? Who's starving more for an NBA World Championship more than Kobe Bryant? There is no one. This guy is highly motivated, and that's on top of the motivation he already has from being completely and totally fixated on the game of basketball. That is why the Los Angeles Lakers are my favorite.
Now, if you were wondering who you listened to, the voices that you were listening to in those sound bites, I'll tell you who they were. The first person was LeBron James. The second person was Stephon Marbury. The third person was Mikael Pietrus, who was a great defender. He also guarded Kobe Bryant in the 2009 NBA, or no, 2009 finals when he was playing against the Orlando Magic. And then you heard Pat Riley, because when you remember Stephon Marbury, but you had LeBron, you heard Pat Riley. Then you heard Greg Popovich, and the last person you heard was Stephen A. Smith. And he said Kobe Bryant was the best player in the NBA, and the year he was talking about was the 2007-2008 regular season, which kind of flies in the face of some of the things that you hear from people like Nick Wright, who said Kobe Bryant was never the best player in the NBA. But we all know that Nick Wright is the biggest troll on TV, and he's the only person I ever heard say after the 2016 NBA Finals that LeBron had passed Michael Jordan. That's when I knew I was dealing with a total clown. But then today, I was listening to some comments to a player that most considered to be one of the greatest offensive forces in the history of the NBA, in Kevin Durant, and he was on the JJ Redick podcast. And he made some very interesting comments about Kobe Bryant. So before we go too far, we want to quickly play some of the things that Kevin Durant had to say, and I'm going to come back here and really unpack this video. So take a listen to what he had to say here.
I always felt that way with Kobe. That was like, I didn't guard you enough to feel that, but like, I'd guard D Wade, I'd guard Manu. Yeah. You know, those were tough matchups. But like, I'd guard Kobe, and I'd be like, he's either gonna make or he's gonna miss. Like that was my, like, I can make it hard on him, whatever the fuck that means. But like, ultimately, Kobe's either gonna make it or miss it. There wasn't a whole lot you could do.
Yeah, Kobe had I want to say 2008 to like 2013. It was no defense for him, but to like
help. before he tore his Achilles. Yeah.
It's like extra help and or just full out double.
Now let me say this: Kevin Durant was actually a bit off if we're talking about the years. Kobe Bryant was the best player in the NBA from the year 2013 to about 2011, 2012. I would say LeBron passed Kobe as the best player in the world around 2012, 2013, when Kobe was about 34, 35 years old. And after 34, obviously, you know, he tore his Achilles, but that's when I think he passed him, right? Kobe Bryant, the last championship he won was in 2010, right? So, but he was still a hell of a player. And that's when LeBron really started winning championships in 2011 with the Miami Heat. No, 2012, I believe, in Miami, because I think the Dallas Mavericks won that championship in 2000. So LeBron couldn't be the best player in the NBA. And when he was, scoring 8 points in the finals, so he couldn't be. So maybe 2012 was really when LeBron started really to pick things up. But what most people don't realize was before 2004 and 2005, and 2005 and 2006, just forget about it. If you look at Kobe Bryant's numbers, he was on another level completely by himself, right? 450-point games in a row, like cut it out. 81 points in a single game in regulation, by the way, not in overtime. But before 2004, 2005, Kobe Bryant actually had seasons where he averaged at least 25 points per game. He averaged 28.5 points per game in the 2000-2001 season. And that year he was playing with the prime Shaquille O'Neal. And Shaquille O'Neal in that regular season averaged 28.7 points and I think 12.7 rebounds that season. So Kobe Bryant was playing with the prime Shaq, and he must have been around 22, 23, 24 years old. And he was putting up those type of numbers. The fact of the matter is this: Kobe Bryant was the most unstoppable force in basketball since the retirement of Michael Jordan, period, end of story. This is not up for discussion, by the way. He was the most unstoppable force in the NBA since the retirement of Michael Jordan, period. In that period, and during that duration, Kobe Bryant captured 5 NBA championships. 5. Now, let me get into why I think Kobe Bryant, or why he is rather than why I think. The reason why Kobe Bryant is the number 3 greatest player of all time, and I'll tell you guys right now. Kobe Bryant, yes, he won 3 NBA championships with Shaq, right? But he won 3 NBA championships with one top 75 player. You can say whatever the hell you want to say, but that's still one. Shaq is still one all-time great player. He's still one all-time great player, right? So he won 3 championships with him. Now, here's what's even more impressive. He won 2 other championships without a single top 75 player, and he only played with one Hall of Famer, and that Hall of Famer was Pau Gasol, who has yet to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe he was recently inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he won a championship against 3 top 75 players in the back-to-back championship against Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce, who were 3 top 75 players. You tell me, who was the other top 75 player that Kobe Bryant was playing with? So this is one of the reasons why I have him as the number 3 greatest player of all time. That's number 1. Number 2, Kobe Bryant has a finals winning percentage of 62.2% in the NBA Finals. So when he was on the biggest stage in the sport, he won the majority of the time. If you look at Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he won 51.8% of the time. However, the reason I give Kareem the nod is because he had a more impressive overall career than Kobe Bryant, and he won more championships. So you got to factor in winning. Winning matters to me. May not matter the most, but it matters to me in this particular equation. And of course, Michael Jordan, who is the greatest player of all time, he has a 100% winning percentage in the NBA Finals. 100%. And that is the reason why I have Kobe Bryant as a top 3 player in NBA history. Period. End of story. Period. So I'm just happy that Kevin Durant was able to highlight this, because what he said was the truth, but it wasn't the whole truth, because Kobe was great even before that time frame he was talking about, 2008. He was great even before then, and everybody knew it. The only people that don't know this are the dweebs and the Nick Wrights of the world, who are fully aware of it but try to ignore it. Shannon Sharp is 100% aware of it, because before then and around the late 2000s, Shannon Sharp said the 3 greatest players of all time are God, Michael Jordan, and Kobe Bryant in that order. The tweet is out there. So these are my thoughts and opinions, and what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about the facts? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.